let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Mama, please don't worry about me. 'Cause I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Back and forth with the bullshit. I know I said it before, I don't mean it. It's been a while since I had your attention, so it might hurt to hit it. Dreams we had don't ever fall away. We can't leave them if we stay the same. And I can't do this for another day. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a Monday edition of the Uninformed Fan. We're ready to get down to business, and let me just tell you, if you haven't seen the video of this one here, Tiesto, The Business, please go check that out on YouTube. I think that you're going to be just as creeped out as I am when I watch it. But yes, it's a great song, dude. The video. Have you seen the video?
No.
Oh my God, watch the official video. Holy moly. It's like this sexy, God, what do they call it? Morgue worker, like, brings this guy back to life and is like crushing on this zombie while he's dancing to the song. And they go, yeah, it's a little different. You know, you just never know what you're going to hear in Mortician yet. No, the corner. Yeah.
You know, like songs always bring you back to a time and place. That song always brings you back to Florianopolis in Brazil, Santa Catarina state. Amazing, beautiful place. But that's the first time I heard that song. And I was like, why am I just now hearing this for the first time when I'm in Brazil? Driving around with my boy Fernando.
I really am impressed by the accent that you just put on there. When you went to pronounce that name.
You like that?
I did. Man of many talents over here. How we feeling today? We ready to break down some NFL action?
Like, it could have gone a lot worse. It could have gone a lot better. So
it was definitely a very, very interesting week. Worked out well for me in Survivor. There's now only 22 teams left.
What did you have?
I took the Cowboys, dude. I'm done trying.
Why did I think you had the Bengals?
Ricky's dad had the Bengals. Yeah, unfortunately, he was one of the casualties. I honestly, you know, we'll get into that here in a little bit here. But yes, we're back. It was a long weekend. I apologize for being away Friday. Thanks to Jeremy and Jeff for holding it down on Friday, providing you all that wonderful information. We didn't have any mortal locks yesterday as well. That's on me again. It was just an extremely long weekend. We were getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting home at about 9:30 at night. And our living our staying arrangements wasn't necessarily the best.
You're at the Ritz.
We were at the Ritz residences. Pardon me. So yes, we were at the
Okay.
Ritz residences. Now, every other time that we've rented someone's residences as the Ritz or the Four Seasons, it's been attached to a hotel. So you get the same amenities, things of that nature. Well, this one was a standalone building. Okay. And there was a few things that my wife happened to overlook, one being a queen size bed. That was strike one. Now, whatever, it is what it is. But the biggest thing about this room that absolutely sucked balls was you walk in and there's a full-time concierge there, 24-hour concierge, right when you walk in. You probably walk 15 paces catty corner to the left, and that's the room. It was on the first floor, literally in the fucking lobby. Terrible. Absolutely garbage. So basically, you know, anytime anybody comes in, you greet the concierge. You might have a little conversation with. You can hear everything. You can hear everything. The people that were next to us, there was one guest suite next to us as well. They had emphysema or something. I mean, they're just coughing up probably 2 pounds of phlegm. Then they had the smoke detector in there, was like a strobe light. And now, I'm not exaggerating here when I'm telling you this green light lit up the room every time it flashed. So,
But aren't you a mask over eyes guy?
no. I can't
Oh,
have
I thought
anything
you
on my
were.
face. No. I can't have anything touching me when I try to sleep.
I just
dude.
always imagine you when you go to sleep having like a robe and slippers and
Oh,
silk
okay.
pajamas and
I feel
a
like-
little, little mask on with like, the noise canceling earphones.
Is this age discrimination? Is this are you trying to tell me that I'm old? This is what old people do?
No, I just thought that's what rich people do.
Well, I am far from rich, so maybe Hugh Hefner, God rest his soul or whatever, can give me a few pointers, but that's definitely not me. So yeah, it was a very long weekend. We didn't get any sleep. We actually didn't go for the Sunday show. We did Friday, Saturday, had some great success. We sold out all of our high-end cards. Unfortunately, we didn't move any memorabilia, which that was the point of being down there, to try to blow out some stuff. So we packed it up on Sunday. Sunday was going to be an even earlier morning. We would have had to get up like at 5:30 because they opened up super early. And, with the traffic flow on Sunday, we just didn't feel like it was going to be worth it. So we packed up. We drove home late Saturday night. Had to watch the Gators, lose on the truck in the way home. Got caught in the monsoon. Had all of our shit in the back, so all of our luggage and everything got soaked. It was quite an adventure. But, we got home. Absolutely just zombied out yesterday. Unfortunately, while I was zombieing, I happened to remember I have the Hard Rock app where I can place legal wagers in Florida now. Click, 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 click. We'll get into that anyway, but it was a good weekend. It's always good to be home. Always good to be home. I'm getting to the point where honestly, I just don't want to leave my house ever, and it's getting kind of scary.
I woke up violently hungover on Sunday. It was an issue. So there was that. Go ahead.
I don't like feeling that way anymore. And I know it gets nobody plans to do this, right? But like when my evening is going on, like I'm always and if you guys out there don't know, I am the king. I am Mr. Houdini, right? When it's time for me to leave, I don't say anything to anybody. I'm gone.
Not a goodbye.
There's no goodbyes. Because you know what happens when you try to say goodbye to somebody? They're like, oh, one more, or another shot, or this, that, there. So I just, slip on up the side so nobody can see me. But yeah, I'm in so fear of that right now because when I go, I don't drink very often anymore. So when I do go, like when we went for the Thursday night game, I was hungover for 2 days.
When we were walking over to backstage and you just completely just disappeared.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy followed me out there. I was done. I was absolutely done. I yelled at Ian, I think. It was just one of those things that got out of control. You have 10 high noons and you don't drink for a month. Like, it adds up. And 2 days later, I'm like, fuck Jeff.
I was on Orange Neutral and Grandma Ye, which I thought was going to be a great combo. And then after like the fourth round, when we were in the fourth quarter of the Florida State game, I was like, this might have been a problem. So I had people looking at me like, yo, you're not making it to 9 o'clock.
Anytime Grand Marnier is involved before 10 o'clock, I don't know.
This is 3:30 in the afternoon. This
Yeah,
is Florida State,
yeah. Grand Monday in the afternoon is just not it. I mean,
but I will say,
what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Those neutrals are.
I'm still sticking with my boy Davey Portnoy in the high news, man. That pineapple just hits home every time. It just hits home.
But,
I used to think that those, sissy boys, whatever you want to call it, about drinking the high noons and the seltzer. You know what? I don't care, bro. Give it to me. It's refreshing.
Like the perfect day drinking option.
Absolutely.
Like it so much is. Like seltzer is the perfect day drinking option. It kids hands down can't be beat. I can't drink beers from 3:30 to 10:30.
It's too heavy.
But I can have four or five seltzers and then maybe 3 beers, after the seltzers, without a problem.
Yeah, the 12 seltzers in one sitting was probably a little egregious. From 7 to 11.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It was bad when I went to multiple fast food places for lunch yesterday because I decided that I wanted this from here and this from here.
It's better than clicking on Uber Eats and having 4 different cars show up at your house, because I've done that before.
But everybody's like, the football just started. And I'm like, we need to go get something to eat.
Yeah, I need something. Well, let's get into a little football recap. What a wild Sunday it was. Upsets throughout I think there was 5 games decided by a game-ending field goal. Let's get into it. Let's start with some good stuff here. Obviously, I wasn't here Friday, but the Bears did take care of the Carolina Panthers on Thursday. Shout out to them. I do love to see the chemistry, what's happening between Tyson Bagent and Justin Fields. If you look at some of the after that locker room stuff, it really looks like those two are getting together. And I did have a guy tell me on the weekend, he said, you know what, this is exactly what Justin needs, because obviously Tyson Bagent, his ability to read the field and get through progressions is better than Justin Fields. He referenced Terry Bradshaw back in the day, which I was like, okay, like I wasn't really, there during that, but okay. And he mentioned whoever Terry Bradshaw's. I never watched Terry Bradshaw play. Okay, dude. He mentioned Terry Bradshaw's backup, and like when Terry Bradshaw first came in the league, he wasn't very good, but his backup could read the field and do stuff. Well, they got together, they became really good friends, and the backup taught Terry Bradshaw the intangibles outside of the talent that he possessed, and he became obviously one of the best quarterbacks for the Pittsburgh Steelers ever. So hopefully this is what's going on. If you look at the chemistry between the guys, they're like best friends now. That's what you want to see at a QB1, QB2, man. Everybody helping out each other. You don't see that in Tampa. But speaking of Tampa, Baker Mayfield and Tampa get it done 6-20. It was a great showing.
Highlights of my weekend.
The only highlight of the weekend, I guess you could say. We were texting yesterday about Mike Evans, and Mike Evans just uncharacteristically this year is just having some just wide open drops. He had a couple of them. I've never seen him drop so many balls that hit him directly in the hands. Now, the stretches, the great plays we expect him to make, I'm not counting those if he doesn't make those. I'm talking about ones that hit him directly in the head. And he had one in the end zone, I believe, and then one on the side. But you know what? The Tampa Bay Bucks did it good. I mean, Will Levis was shut down after that, what was it, last week or the week before, that great performance. The secondary finally showed up. D-Hop pretty much shut down. The Bucks look good. Baker Mayfield did injure his throwing thumb, I do believe it was, in the fourth quarter. I got a little tingly, woohoo. But apparently it is something, though, that is going to be looked at. I did see the press conference afterwards where it said there is an injury. He just played through it, so I don't know if he got the varsity blue shot, but it is something to monitor moving forward. I guess he did hit it pretty good, so probably going to have some swelling there, so we'll see what happens. But good win for the Bucks. Everybody's kind of counted them out of the playoffs. Good win for them to get back, not necessarily in the playoffs, but back in that hunt, and for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Well, especially when the rest of the division loses. Everybody else in the division lost as well too. So you're gaining a game there. They needed to get off the schneid. Honestly, if we look at it, I said this on Friday. I thought that a veteran group like that. I can't convince you to put the Bucks into any circuit picks anymore, and I'm not going to. But a veteran group like that who just got dogged out by C.J. Stroud all over the field, where Rondé Barber called out Carlton Davis, and Carlton Davis said Rondé Barber is 100% correct. We were terrible. We looked like the worst secondary in the NFL. That's on us to change. And I love the response that they came back with after the Texans game. This was like a punch you in the mouth game. You're facing another rookie quarterback. You're facing, a team in the Titans that can be beat. We know they can be beat. You have to come out and you have to respond. And I thought they did that in kind. Obviously, they have a nice little drive down there to get them down. And then I don't know, that was so weird. Vrabel kicking a field goal to go down two scores. I don't get it, but whatever. We'll take the win. We'll take the dub and we'll keep it moving.
I thought it looked good. Obviously when Baker threw the first interception, I'm like, here we go. I mean,
Rashad White again, man.
I mean,
Rashad White. This is how many weeks in a row?
I don't know. Yeah, I was like, here we go. But yep, the Bucs pull it off, and now where do they sit in your division now?
Oh, we're still behind New Orleans, I believe. And shout out to us who gets to travel to San Francisco next week to take on the 49ers.
Ooh, well, we're gonna transition to that one in just a second, but we're gonna fly to Germany. What's that?
I said second year in a row we are flying out to San Francisco.
You are tied with the Saints in the division. So let's get out to Germany for our first circuit pick here. We took the Colts -2, I do believe it was. What a dog shit game. There was a lot of dog shit games out there, but this one was just this was painful to watch. One of the things that it just befuddles me is watching a Colts team put up 41 points, 38 points, this, that, and the other, moving the ball down, and then you put up 10 points for an entire football game. The Patriots, yes, I could see that they're only putting up 6 points. Mac Jones throws probably one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen out of an NFL quarterback at the end. Falling back, he has his tight end wide open, and he literally just dumps it right to the defender on the 1-yard line. Right after I sent my good friend Jeffrey saying, we need a patented Mac Jones turnover right here, interception, and lo and behold, there it is. We did get a little bit lucky on this one because I tell you what, if the Patriots scored that touchdown, the Colts were not moving the ball down the field to score again.
Terrible.
He had some good plays where he got out of the pocket and made some, but man, he missed some wide open throws. And I think that this is just showcases how important it is to have a decent quarterback in this league. It's just so tough to get a decent quarterback. Colts 10, Patriots 6. Probably the most mind-boggling thing that we saw out of this was the fact that Bill Belichick pulls Mac Jones for Bailey Zappi with the 2-minute drive to go to try to win the game. Should Mac Jones have been benched? Absolutely. Should he be benched during the 2 minutes and have a guy that's ice cold that's not taking any first reps with anybody from the first team for weeks? No.
0 timeouts too. You have no timeouts whatsoever for the guy to work.
Maybe Belichick is taking, bro. I don't know.
I swear to God, I'm like, the only reason you do that is because you think you're going to lose the game or you want to lose the game. Because there's a possibility that Mac Jones puts it together, comes down there, and also, what are you doing? They were running the ball down their freaking throat. The Patriots were. The Colts could not stop the run at all. It was Ramondre. It was Ezekiel. It was over and over and over again, and then inexplicably, you decide to throw the ball. Why? You're knocking them down at 4.5 yards a clip. What are you doing? Thank God. Appreciate you.
They're tanking for Caleb Williams.
It was like and then I look at the standings and I'm like, oh wait, the Patriots are right there for Caleb Williams.
They are right there.
They are right there. So
too bad they got to fight with the Bears with their 2 picks that are still the top 3.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, right? So you're looking at Arizona is
it's
up
Arizona,
there, right?
Chicago.
The Giants are up there. Chicago's moved away from it because they just got the win against the Panthers.
Yeah, but the Cardinals also won.
Yeah, but the Cardinals won to basically move them to 2-8 or whatever it is, 2-7. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be interesting here. That's for sure. But what a terrible game. There's really not much to talk about that. We did get lucky and hit our first circuit pick on that one. It is what it is.
Yeah,
so
we'll take it.
let's just move on. And so yeah, it's actually Panthers, Patriots, Cardinals, Giants, Bears. So the Bears have dropped to they have the number 1 pick now. 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1 and 5. Patriots are sitting at number 2 now. Let's go. Because I honestly, you know what? We're gonna get into this. Obviously, we in the recap here. But I got some high expectations for Chicago moving forward.
I do want to say this too. Like, I think the way that this ends up shaking out is the Panthers will win 1 or 2 games coming home. Probably.
I don't think so.
They'll figure something out. Now,
the crazy part is their
Cardinals,
only win is against the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Who just went in and beat the Bengals in the jungle. Yeah. That is nuts.
Now, I'll say this. Arizona with Kyler Murray is going to be much more relevant, I feel like, especially with James Conner back. I thought he was the key cog that kind of listen, you can't lose your entire running game as well, too. And have Josh Dobbs.
Well, let's break that down as we go, because we're obviously going to get to the Arizona Cardinals. We can get to their picks there as well. Let's head out to Pittsburgh.
Think it shakes out where you could have the Giants and the Patriots up there 1-2. You know, I don't see them winning the game the rest of the year.
Well, let's hope not. Let's hope that the Panthers hold on to that last spot, because I would love for the Bears to be able to trade it away for a haul. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously the Giants are expected to be ones that are going to be very, very aggressive as far as moving up to try to get that pick. So we'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of hungry teams out there. You never know who's going to put it out. Let's head to Mediocre Mike and the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they get it done once again, 19-23 over the Green Bay Packers. Another slop game, but once again, the Steelers get it done without Mitch Trubisky. I don't know, Mediocre Mike putting together the 3. I don't know if you watched any of that one.
They got outgained again, once again. Ninth game in a row, they get outgained and win the game. I don't know. Did you see that chart that I sent out about Kenny Pickett and his passing?
Yes, I did.
His passing chart, that is insane, by the way. Kenny Pickett did not even attempt to pass over the middle of the field.
It's got to be by design.
And there was nothing over 20 yards down the field.
It's got to be, but it's got to be by design.
It's really bad. So, yeah, I mean, look, congrats to them.
Anytime the Packers lose is a good feeling for me. Love it when the Packers lose.
Christian Watson might be droppable in all formats in fantasy football. I think we are welcome to Dumpsville on him.
Yeah,
it's just not happening, and
there's just no synergy with those two.
I don't understand.
I don't either. Well, let's get into some good feel-good stuff here. Let's head to Minnesota, where the Minnesota Vikings take down the Saints 27-19. Josh Dobbs.
Yep.
Josh Dobbs is him. It's him. I something has clicked this year where he is reading and he is producing, and he, as you think, if you put on the group text, he is now 100% rosterable at all formats. But even back when I was looking, after you said that, like, he's really only had a couple of games to where he didn't really put up numbers. I would be willing to bet. I mean, he's got to be tops as far as the quarterback potential. When you look at his fantasy relevance outside of week 1, week 2, 29 points, 3, 21, 30, 14, 12, 17, 29, 30, 30. I mean, the guy's putting up some great numbers. You got to think about as well. He also was in the Arizona offense. Yes, there's some good playmakers there, but I think we could agree that the Minnesota Vikings have a few better options. T.J. Hawkinson, K.J. Osborne, obviously when Justin Jefferson comes back as well. There's some good stuff. Jordan Addison's in there as well. So, I mean, if he can continue this, I mean, wow. Talk about comeback player of the year. But the Vikings do get it done. Obviously, the head coach for the Vikings is now fully in the square for coach of the year. If they could continue to pull this off and somehow compete for this division with the Lions, I think that no doubt he should be in the running for the coach of the year.
I feel like Josh Dobbs is what we thought Jordan Love would be this year. Like a guy who can manage the game, get out of the pocket, is going to throw for 280 every single game, who's going to scramble for 40 yards and a touchdown every game. I just felt like that's what we thought Jordan Love would be this year. And Jordan Love has turned out to definitely not be that. And Josh Dobbs is that.
I'll tell you,
also, very funny here, something to monitor. Derek Carr does go down and get hurt. So they said it was a concussion. It looked weird. Jameis comes in and does what Jameis does, man.
He's a gunslinger, bro. He is just firing that rock across the field.
Unapologetically doesn't care, and he will let that thing go. There was a touchdown that he threw where they were in the red zone.
That should have been intercepted as well.
He's on the left side. He throws it all, and it was a rocket he threw to the right side. The receiver goes up and made a great play, but I was just like, dude, that is just.
How many? Did he have 2 interceptions?
He had 2 picks, yeah.
I'll tell you, man, if he can figure out that's the same thing, man, that dude's got a rocket for an arm, dude. I mean,
it's crazy.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, as you said, Derek Carr goes out, but let's be honest. They weren't moving anything on the offense with Derek Carr, and I would have to say that Jameis Winston, even though he did throw the 2 interceptions, provided more of a spark and more offensive yards and totals than Derek Carr did the entire game. So,
I mean, we threw for 122 just in the fourth quarter. But he does throw 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, so it's...
Yeah, I mean, but again, the game plan's a little bit different. Obviously, you're down by that point. But I don't know, man. You've said before numerous times that Derek Carr is just not it. One of the worst quarterbacks. So I'm glad that, when we were talking out our things, one of the things I think about, right, when we're talking about our picks, and I usually think about it after the fact, is I don't remember things very well. Obviously, we've talked about this. I think I need to go get my brain scan. But there's certain things that I remember later conversations, maybe not necessarily the moment, but I remember you just absolutely shitting on Derek Carr and this offense and things of that nature. And then I remember you shitting on the Jags at one point and all of this stuff. So I keep, it's weird. Like I get these little flashes. Like, so when he's playing like shit, then I hear Jeffrey, he's the worst fucking quarterback in the division.
Well, no. So what I said is that I didn't say he's the worst quarterback in the division. I said he's historically one of the worst red zone quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. And it's sure as shit, dude. He gets hurt. Jameis comes in. I think the first pass that Jameis throws is to Chris Olave in the end zone on a dot for a touchdown. He can't get it done in the red zone. So it's really, really weird. He's really good in between the 20s. You get him past the 20.
Jameis Winston over 0.5 interceptions. Book it moving forward.
Every game.
Every game, dude. Just like Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdowns, it's happening. It's happening every time.
We were joking around because, not to transition to college real quick, but we were the Iowa Rutgers game. I don't know if you saw it, was like the lowest total in the history of college football, 26.5. And after the first half, it was live at like 16.5.
What did it end up at?
I think it ended up coming in. But we were joking around because we were there with the game, and we were like, what is because on Hard Rock Bet, you can bet every single drive. So you can bet the drive ends in a punt. Now, in that game, the drive to end in a punt is like minus 300. But I go, bro, you could lay juice, and you're literally guaranteed not to lose. Because they're punting on, like, they I think each team punted like 14 or 15 times, something weird like that. Like, just
can you put them in open leg parlays? That'd be something. Let's head out to the jungle where we already referenced CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans go in and shock the Cincinnati Bengals in the jungle. Texans 30, Bengals 27. I mean, CJ Stroud has to be firmly in the conversation for most valuable player at this point as a rookie. I mean, my goodness, this kid is just showing some serious poise, serious control, being able to drive this team down the field. It just seems like he does it with ease. He threw a late pick here that I thought the game was over at this point. I took the Cincinnati Bengals live plus 350, and it sure was looking good. And then I think it was Tyler Boyd drops the end zone pass, should have put the Bengals up, but regardless, they get the field goal to tie it, and then C.J. Stroud goes down. I think that's a huge, huge moment in the game. Obviously, if Tyler Boyd makes the catch, continues the catch all the way through, now the Texans have to go down and get a touchdown versus a field goal. I think it was, again, 1 minute, no timeout, something of that nature. I can't remember exactly perfectly. But, again, just rolls the team right down the field, man. It's just, I mean, the poise and stuff, the Carolina Panthers got to be kicking themselves in the face right now. You know, they trade up with the Bears to get, and then they take the Bryce Young. Who knows? He still could be. Let's be honest. Bryce Young does not have a complete, has a less complete team around him than the Texans do. Obviously, the Texans are looking really good on defense as well. They jumped up, get Will Anderson. Tank Dell's looking very good as well as some of the other complimentary receivers. Obviously, the head coach is Texas as well. Obviously in there for coach of the year as well. A lot of people were clamoring at the beginning of the year, another black coach for a trophy. It's just another transition coach for him. And that, I'm looking right at you, ESPN and Stephen A. Smith. You guys were saying the same thing, get your time in there, and then get out. But you know what? The guy's getting it done. Congratulations to the Texans. I mean, what a huge, huge win. They are looking square in the playoffs, square in the mouth right now. They've already beat the Jaguars once. I do believe it's in 2 weeks, or I think it's 2 weeks. They're going to play them again at home. They beat the Jags at home again. They're in the playoffs. I mean, we're talking about a team that was historically bad for the past few years, including with Deshaun Watson, Mr. Fully Guaranteed contract, to bring in a rookie quarterback and improve from 4 wins. I do believe they had total last year, and they're to over 500 already. Absolutely amazing performance. Hands down, he has broken the mold of the Ohio State quarterbacks being a bust in the NFL. It's going to be exciting to see what this team can continue to do down the stretch.
Yeah, I was dead wrong. And like Nico Collins not playing in this game, I was like, okay, well, that's like one of his best weapons. I still liked Cincy. I think they were laying 6. And Burrow comes down, they score a touchdown immediately to start the game. And you're like, okay, this is just how it's gonna be. This is CJ outdoors. It's different, in a dome. Same thing, replay of the Panthers game. And there's just certain guys who in the pocket, they just look different. And CJ just looks so calm, composed. Like Mahomes looks the same way, where Mahomes just, when he's in the pocket, he's just able to move it. It's like a maestro, being able to dance back and forth and get to your set angle. And, certain guys just don't look comfortable. They have happy feet in the pocket, constantly. He's just, I don't know, man. He shouldn't be this good for a rookie. He should not.
We talked about this, and we even looked at Josh Dobbs, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Breaking the mold. And we talked about this numerous times about there's so very few people that walk into an NFL as a rookie and are able to make an impact. Look at Josh Dobbs. He was with, what do we have here? He's been in 7 years, 7 teams. Even look at Geno Wilson. He obviously put some stuff together last year. Geno Smith. He obviously is regressing a little bit this year, but it takes time, and I think that's what NFL teams and fan bases. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win now, but it takes time. But to be able to watch somebody like this just come in and absolutely elevate his team, not only on the field, but the camaraderie in the locker room, bringing this team together as a family. And that's what you see out there, man. You see these guys out there, they're high-fiving each other. They're picking each other up when they're down. When he threw the late interception, he came back. He said, that's on me. Get me the ball back, and I got it. And that's what they did, and that's what he did. And, I mean, to be able to walk that down and prove that, it's just, the future is just super bright with this kid, man. I mean, I love to see the confidence in him. I like to see a little bit of the motion. He does remind me a little bit of Justin Fields, not necessarily in the fact of the happy feet or anything of that nature, but Justin Fields just shows no emotions. He just shows no emotions. That's one of the things I don't like and one of the things I do like. But yeah, man, the sky's the limit for this kid. Stay healthy. Continue to develop. I mean, I think the Texans, you got to be feeling pretty damn good about yourself in the future of your franchise.
They have Cardinals, Jags, Broncos, Jets, Titans. They still have the Titans twice.
Dude,
there's a real shot they win this division.
I think you beat Jacksonville again. You're winning the division because you'll be 2-0 against them. That's your only competition in that division. And imagine that. Imagine C.J. Stroud comes in, knocks Trevor Lawrence, the Golden Boy, the number 1 overall pick, the savior of football in Jacksonville, and C.J. Stroud and the Texans come in and knock them out. Wow. Good morning, Marcus. Good morning. Big win for you guys. Big win. Let's move on now to Baltimore. What a game out in Baltimore. Now, we talked about this one and, on Wednesday, and I know you guys referenced it on Friday. I don't know how deep you guys went into it, but, you did say that you like the Browns on this, that the AFC North games are always a little crazy. They always end up, tighter than they should be, and boy, was this a game. I do believe it was 17-31 with 9 minutes to go in the game. Obviously, Baltimore has the ball. All you got to do is run the clock out and, the odds of them getting 2 scores, and it kind of reminiscent of our game last week when PJ Walker threw the intercept, hit the guy in the helmet and went over. This one was a jump block. Same type of thing. Lamar throws it out to the right. It's tipped. Browns catch it, run it back for a touchdown. Now all of a sudden it's 24-31. The Browns come back and beat Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens at home. Not a good game for Lamar. A couple turnovers. They just didn't seem like the same team that clicked. They were clicking in the first half. Maybe they got comfortable, and the Browns, elevated their defense in the second half. But on the same token, we got to see some consistency out of these teams. We talked about on Wednesday, as well as, taking teams for what they've shown us. Well, last week, the Baltimore Ravens showed us that they could be the Super Bowl winners. This week, they got exposed. And that is what makes the NFL so much fun to watch.
And listen, I gave out the stat, right? Harbaugh as a divisional favorite by 3.5 or more, 5-14 in the last 3 years. He's now 5-15 as they take the L here. It's funny because it's like two really good defenses who you expect to stop the opposition. The score ends up 33-31. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a problem too much with the way that Lamar played. A couple untimely turnovers there. Obviously, the pick six is huge as well too. It's just one of those games, man. Divisional AFC North home game always ends on a weird number. Sure as shit, 33-31. Dustin Hopkins with the walk-off. Go Knowles.
Go Knowles, I guess. Well, let's get into one of our circuit picks. We're heading out to Jacksonville, where the Jacksonville Jaguars just looked absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know. I didn't watch this game a whole lot. Actually, I turned it off and watched a little bit of the Blackhawks hockey after it got a little bit out of hand. 49ers 34, Jags 3. We did talk about a little bit. I was curious as to see what would happen with the full San Francisco 49ers team. Chase Young, obviously Trent Edmonds on the way back after a full week off of practice, being able to come off the bye week. Are they going to be back? Is Brock Purdy going to be able to put the slipper back on the foot? And I think we can both agree that the slipper is back on. The San Francisco 49ers have regrouped, and they are back to what we saw prior to the little 3-game skid there.
Yes. Yeah. Trent Williams is back. He's obviously a big deal to that team. You're talking about the best left tackle in football. You're talking about a way that Purdy can, just trust that nobody's coming off that blind side. We didn't know if he was going to be in when we put this pick in. I still...
Easy. I need you to set aside your preseason Jacksonville fanhood and your fantasy team to look this in the eyes for what it is. And the Jacksonville Jaguars they're a mediocre team, and they went against a juggernaut that was coming off a small skid.
I don't think they're a mediocre team.
What have you seen out of them? What game have you seen out of them that shows that they're not a mediocre team?
Buffalo was pretty good.
Okay, 1. And with that being said, so yes, the San Francisco 49ers go out and just absolutely decimate Jacksonville. And like we talked about before, the Houston Texans winning, they've already got that one game up on Jacksonville. Those are the two teams that are now squarely in the division, looking to see who's going to pull that out. If I had to put my hard-earned cash on it, like Jeffrey always says, I would think I would be taking the Texans at this point. There just seems like there's so much more upside. The Jags just seem like they're just a little bit in turmoil. They can't get that offense humming. Obviously, San Francisco 49ers, one of the best defenses in the league, but to put up only 3 points with the prodigy Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, and all of those boys over that ETN Jr., obviously is when they shut him down completely. I don't know why I can't. Ingram, they got the weapons. I don't know, man. We got to get some better schemes. Maybe they just got completely out-coached on Sunday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
the 49ers. Listen, shout out Frank Burgo. All right, you're my boy. I love you, Blue. I deserve the text that you sent me. It's fine. I'll take it. I'm a man. I can eat it. But this shit just kind of pisses me off, bro. Like, how do you go get Chase Young? Like, you already have an all-star team on defense, and then you go get Chase Young. And like, I don't know, man. It's just some BS, bro. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. I'm the rest of the year, I am rooting against the 49ers every game they play.
Well, don't get too comfortable in there because you never know where they might be on our lines. I'll tell you who's not going to be on our lines anytime soon. Okay. Well, here we go.
Who's that? Who's not going to be on any?
Jacksonville. I need to see some stuff. I need to see Jacksonville come together a little bit here. Obviously, unless they go back to England and play over there, because obviously they have something in the juice over there where they wake up with some bangers and mash or something of that nature that gives them the football juju that they need to win football games.
They just won 5 in a row. They won 5 in a row.
And 2 of them were in England, where teams were, and 2 were England, where the teams had jet lag. They flew in.
3 losses on the year: the Chiefs, the Texans, and the 49ers.
And who have they beat?
You're telling me they're playing the Titans next week at home?
Who are they
taking? Jacksonville.
Who have they beat?
They beat the Steelers, the Saints, the Colts, the Bills, and the Falcons.
So they beat the Bills. That's the only really respectable team out there, correct?
They beat the Colts week 1 with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, his very first game. I think we could agree here. It's not the most impressive resume. If we were the college football playoffs team, we're not looking at me like this is one of the toughest schedules in the league right now. That's all I'm trying to say. I hope they put it together. I'm not rooting against them. I just wish that, with the talent and the expectations that Jacksonville had coming in, they're falling flat on their face. That's all I'm trying to say. They got who do they have remaining? You said they have Tennessee,
Titans, Texans, Bengals, Browns, Ravens, Bucks, Panthers, Titans.
How many wins you got out of there? 2? Maybe 3?
They're beating the Titans. They're beating the Texans. Be a really good game against the Bengals on a Monday night.
You think they're going to beat the Texans like that confidently, huh?
Absolutely.
Everybody check your over-under win totals for the season. Jeffrey's calling it right now.
They'll win 4 or 5 games out of that.
We shall see. We shall see. Now, this was a game. Let's head over to L.A. This was a game that I don't think, this game really pissed me off. Let's just say that. As somebody that's going up against Justin Herbert in fantasy, this was one of the most egregious games that I think I've seen. Like, fuck you. I don't understand the defenses when they play the Chargers. Maybe they're just that good and the receivers are that good and able to get the ball open. Maybe it's Justin Herbert and his ability to place the ball. But how is it that the Chargers continue to just hang these large numbers up on good defenses? Lions 41, Chargers 38. They did hit the field goal at the very end to give us the push in circa this week. I had a text from my cousin earlier, and I know I told you, Jeffrey, it was Josh Dobbs or Jared Goff, and I told him Jared Goff. Obviously, Josh Dobbs goes off. I think my cousin's feeling pretty good about my pick now. As you said, it's still Jared Goff. But my goodness, can anybody stop this Chargers offense? Yes, they lost. But, we've all noticed that the Chargers defense is less than it's just not a good defense. The secondary is absolutely terrible. They give up the most points, I do believe. I don't know. I'm just saying that off my mouth. I don't know which one of the if that's actually true. I'm sure Jeremy will correct me. And I'm just bringing up their schedule here so I can see what their points are. So they 38, 27, 30. The Chiefs and the Cowboys hold them to 17 points. 24, 28, 24, 23 against that was preseason. So they got to be averaging 26 points a game. That's huge, especially with a team.
The Jets stopped them too.
For a team that's 4-5 to be averaging 26, no, the Jets allowed 27 points against them.
I think there was a couple defensive touchdowns. Short fields that were
could be a little Zachy Wilson gift. I don't know. This game just pissed me off. Obviously, again, like I said, going against Justin Herbert, I was looking at a very, very good fantasy win this week, which I definitely, if I can get a clawed win this week, I really like my chances moving forward to get out of the cellar. It's just not over yet. We're sitting there, baby. We are sitting there. I am projected to win, but 73%. We'll see what happens. That would be taking down the Munson. We can all agree that's a good thing. But to watch Justin Herbert just shred another secondary to just move the ball at will, hit huge. I think there was 2 40-yard plays to Keenan Allen. Absolutely egregious. We do get the win, or we get the push here, which drops it out of our loss column for the Lions. But I don't know. I didn't expect, what is this, 79 points and an NFL 79 points. Wow.
Yeah, I need 20 points between Gabe Davis and James Cook, which I know is not going to happen. So
I am up 17 points. and he has Javonte Williams tonight.
Ooh.
Yep. He's only projected 107.5, so that would be 13 points. He's projected 13 points, so we can keep it there. That would be great. He also got 2 garbage touchdowns. Gus Edwards gets a garbage touchdown at the end to get him, and then Antonio Gibson hits 1 freaking touchdown at the end of that Washington game. Otherwise, I'd be looking this straight in the mouth as a win. Curtis Samuel, 1.6 points, bro.
He had more than Jacoby Myers, though, right?
No, Jacoby had 3.1.
Oh.
Big things here. Big things there. So what was your takeaway? Obviously, we like to fade the Chargers. That's a big thing of Jeffrey's. He's not very confident on that Chargers team. Obviously, they do get the loss here. Your thoughts on the Lions-Chargers game?
I didn't really see a lot of it. I was surprised because I thought Dan Campbell would have that defense with a week off, and him and Quinn would get in there and just have them ready to go, and it just didn't seem like that. So,
how about the balls? The balls on Dan Campbell at the end of the game. I think it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and you get the first down, the game's over, right? You're in field goal range, and dude, the balls on him just go. They went for it, got it. Loved the play, man. Pretty much secured the win. Obviously, you're not. They could have kicked the field goal right then and there. And then, of course, giving the ball back to Justin Herbert with a minute to go. We all know how that goes in the NFL. Dan Campbell says, not today, son. Not today. I'm going to show you how to play man football. We're going to get this yard. We're going to get this win. And by God, they did. I love Dan Campbell, man. I love Dan Campbell. Love it. 4th and 2 with 1:47 remaining. You kick the field goal. You go up 3. Or you go for it and seal it. Love the play. Love the play. Shout out to Dan Campbell, man. You're the GOAT. You the GOAT.
Yeah, he was a way better coach than Staley. So
that's for damn sure. Let's head to Arizona, where Kyler Murray brought his amazing baby runs back to the NFL off the IR with 0 restrictions, and he gets it done, man. He scrambles. He gets around. Falcons 23, Cardinals 25. I mean, this was one of the ones that we didn't know what the impact was going to be with Carolina here. I'm sorry, with the Cardinals here. Obviously, Kyler Murray, he's showing why he is a quarterback in the NFL, not one of the mediocre Mac Jones that we see out there or anything of that nature. Made a couple key plays to be able to get it done. I tell you, Art Smith, I'm absolutely just. I wish I could see him on the streets, man, and just like slices Achilles or something of that nature. The use of Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, all of this thing all around is just absolutely mind-boggling to me. Bijan Robinson is absolutely shredding that defense every time he touches the ball. He gets them down into the red zone single-handedly by himself. And what does Art Smith do? Hey, let's pull him out. Hey, come on. You're great. Everybody got down here. Let's put it in Tyler Algier and see what happens. The guy is driving me nuts, bro. He was 5 yards away from a 100-yard bonus. Obviously, that's fantasy football. No coach is thinking of that. But when a guy drives your team all the way down and is looking like the most explosive person you have on the field, especially when you have to put Desmond Ridder back in the game due to an injury, it's just, oh my God, dude. This coach is going to drive everyone mad. Imagine being an Atlanta fan. Just imagine that, dude. And the guy doesn't utilize your best players to their ability. I don't understand it.
Yeah, tough. I don't know. I've never been a Smith fan. I think he sucks. He doesn't get the ball into his best playmaker's hands ever. Just completely ridiculous. But listen, what are you gonna do? Congrats to Kyler Murray. Big weekend for him. Modern Warfare 3 dropped, and he gets an NFL win as well in the same weekend. Usually unheard of. So good for him for breaking that narrative. Really proud of him.
In case you can't tell by the tone here, I'm assuming that there might have been a bet slip on Jeffrey's app for the Falcons. That's the tone I'm getting out of this. Is that the case, Jeff?
No, I didn't touch this game.
Okay.
You
seem very disgusted with the game. That's why.
Well, I've been told. I basically been grounded from betting by one of our mutual friends, E and Z. So, it's always great when you decide to have split action with your friend. because you hit a dumb live bet 3 weeks ago, and now every bet that you put in that ran it up to $500. And every bet that you put in that loses after that is just, you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're doing. You need to give over the reins to me.
Can I just say this? I've seen Ian's betting history.
I'm literally in hell, Tyson. I'm in sports betting hell, and it's been like this to where I tried to pin the rest of what we had on Washington secretly, and I don't care if you listen to this, Ian, secretly hoping that they lost so that we would be done together, and I'd be like, oh, we blew the whole thing. Sorry, there's no more money in there. We're done. No, of course, Washington decides to fucking cover, which gives me one more week of having to listen to his bullshit over and over again.
Well, maybe you'll hit that massive 4-teamer here that'll launch you into the stratosphere to cover for the rest of the year, because that's all we can hope for. So you did mention the Commanders. The Commanders did go into Seattle and cover 26-29. Geno Smith just looked absolutely horrible. Now, he did have some great stats here, put up some serious numbers for me in fantasy. I thought that he was going to go off. He did go off passing yardage, but the passing touchdowns and things of that nature just was not there. He missed a lot of throws. The Seahawks team, to me, obviously, I think, you look at their record, you look at where they are in the division, I think they're a little bit overrated when it comes to that. I mean, we're starting to see it, and, you mentioned that last time as far as being able to, trust what they're doing out there. They did get the dub, but it just looks so disheveled. And let's be honest, the Washington Commanders team is not a very stout team. I will give them credit, though. That front line, after dismantling with Sweat and Chase gone, has absolutely stepped up and continued to provide the pressure against the opponent's offensive line, causing havoc with the quarterbacks back there. So I will give them that. They knew what they were doing, traded away the picks. They had the people behind them to be able to back it up. So kudos to that. They actually might even be outperforming them, because they did have quite a stretch there where they weren't very effective. But you did call this one. We did take it in circle, however, but Commanders 26, Seahawks 29 in the 12th Man Stadium. As Jeremy likes to say, is not really much of an advantage anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a big Seattle person this year. And I even think this is just even more proves it, right? We did say, listen, if Geno doesn't go off, then red flags, boom, 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 everywhere. Like, you have to show up in this game, especially going against the secondary. And especially, I understand that there was a questionable ejection as well, too, on Emmanuel Bates, one of the DBs from Washington that Ian was blowing up my phone about while I was at work.
The whole targeting thing to me is just it's a weird thing. I don't think I'm not going to say that people are going out there to try to hurt people, but it does happen. Emmanuel Forbes Jr. was the guy. I tell you, it's even more egregious in college, and I saw it again in college this weekend. I do believe it was on LSU against Florida. The fact of you have to make split-second decisions on this type of stuff, like, where do I hit this guy, where do I not hit this guy, and if the offensive person happens to move their position while you're launched in air, you're called for the flag. It's absolutely soft. You can't even really hit anybody anymore. But in college, it's even more egregious, the fact that you make a mistake and you're ejected from the game. That's the absolute stupidest rule I've ever heard in my life. I hope that they go back. I think we've talked about this every year now for the past 2 years. It needs to be changed. It needs to be something to look at where it's a personal foul. If you do it twice, then yes, you can be ejected. But to make one mistake and be ejected for the rest of the game, to me, is absolutely egregious. One of the stupidest rules in college football, and we did see a little bit of that in the NFL here. What about
so we did have Geno Smith in our uninformed fan league, our 2-quarterback league.
Oh, good.
That we had that we rolled him out there. So which we needed because we had Trevor Lawrence as well too as the other quarterback. So
oh my God, he put up 4 points.
No AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson probably coming off of IR next week as well too. So we're missing AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Jefferson. We need 7 points tonight out of Cortland Sutton.
I don't like it at all.
to beat Mike Fitzpatrick. So, listen, bro, we're dominating, man. We have 1,610 points for. We are 60 points ahead of anybody else in our league in terms of points for. We just have a ton of points against. We're right in the middle.
Is it time to move on from
second place?
Is it time to move on from Trevor Lawrence in fantasy?
Don't fucking start with me, please.
Well, it's a serious question.
They play the Titans next week, Tyson. Okay, the Tennessee Titans. Baker Mayfield just torched. Okay, we're not asking this question yet, please.
It's week 11. I think it's time to ask these questions. I think we need to look at who's out there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll give it one more week. We'll give it one more week. Let's head out to Dallas with another one of our circuit bits. What? What? We'll give it. He's not been good, dude. I'm just saying. Zach, what's going on, buddy?
I have him in the big league. Tyson.
Well, I'm just saying if we can make
every week.
If we can make
every week.
If we can make it. I mean, Baker Mayfield's out there. Hell, Jordan Love put up more points. Hell, Tyson Bagent put up more points.
Calvin Ridley, Christian Watson,
Gardner Minshew put up more points. Matt Jones. Actually, Zach Wilson. I could go on. Let's get into Dallas, where this was a game where, we were getting 16.5 points here, right? Laying 16.5 points for the Dallas Cowboys for our circle pick. And this is one where, 9.9 times out of 10, we are never taking a favorite that's favored by 16.5 points, because let's be honest, this is the NFL, and you never would happen. Yes, absolutely. Dak over Lawrence. Absolutely. Now, we talked to each other on Saturday. It was a very quick talk. I was extremely in the middle of trying to make a living down there in Palm Beach. And, we're looking at...
Zach, you misspelled both of their names.
Well, yeah, Dak's not very dark. He's what we call a light skin. We're down there talking, and I'm like, you got time for a quick call? We're in the middle of making deals down there, and we're looking at picks. I stop and I go, Jeff, how many points do we think the Giants are actually going to score here? I think when they put up 3 against the Jets, they're just, DeVito's starting, which we saw them not even let DeVito throw for an entire game. They ran the ball. Obviously, the Dallas defense is going to be able to stop the run, because that's all that they're going to have to focus on. And lo and behold, we said, what would be a bad game for offense for the Cowboys? We said 24 points. Right, so 24 points. You figure if they put up 7, we're still right there. Let's just put it in. The only thing we have to worry about is how long the Dallas starters are going to play and what kind of lead are they going to have. They built up the lead. The starters come out. They do give up some points on that, but easy win, 49-17. Set it on cruise control. You'll probably never see something like that come out of us ever again. Because I did have some people text me. Ricky was texting me on the DGen chat. Obviously, Giants plus 17.5 is a lock, right? No.
Yeah, when I heard that, I knew we were in a good spot.
Yes. Shout out to Ricky. Sorry, buddy. But yes, that was absolutely solid. What an absolute domination. And our last game for Sunday before we get into our quick Monday Night Football recap, and then we have a little bit of college. We got to move it along here. We had the Jets-Raiders, an absolute another shit show of a game. Zach Wilson just cannot get it done. He had more than enough time this time. More than enough time to be able to get the ball out. He did make some good throws to Garrett Wilson. There was a couple drops by Garrett Wilson, but I mean, let's be honest, the receivers are never going to catch 100% of the balls that are thrown to them 100% of the time. A couple bad throws by, obviously, Zach on some wide open. I did like the way he scrambled. He extended some plays. He threw some great balls on the run. When I looked at some of the game calling and the playing again, it was run, and then let me see what I can pass. Then in the fourth quarter, they did open it up a little bit, and you saw the Jets move the ball. At this point with Robert Saleh and this Jets offense, you're with Zach Wilson. You didn't make any other choices. You didn't make any other plays. That's your guy. The only way he's going to work through this shit is if you let him throw the ball. That's the only way. He's got to get the reps. He's got to see the field. You chose to stick with Zach Wilson. You didn't go out and try to get any other quarterback, not even a backup quarterback to try to bring in that could actually compete, or if he didn't. So you chose to stay with Zach Wilson. So if you're going to choose to stay with Zach Wilson, then let the kid play. That's all I'm going to say. If he loses the game for you, he loses the game for you. But when everybody on the field knows you're going to run the ball for the first 2 downs, and then you're going to throw, and then obviously they're going to bring the house on 3rd down to knock him out of the pocket, to cover up the receivers. It's a game plan that anybody can follow. I don't know. I just think that you got to let the kid play. If the kid loses you the game, he loses you the game. You're not expected to win anyway. You're not winning football games with the way you're doing it. 16-12. I did like the Raiders here a little bit. I actually, when it came down to it, and a lot of the money came on the Raiders, the Jets ended up plus money, plus 1.5. I did take the Jets plus 1.5 on that one, just because I thought it would probably be that close of a game, maybe a 1-point game, and it definitely should have been. I don't know. I hate it when you have these quarterbacks who are definitely struggling, right? Even with Mac Jones struggling, there's play calls that you can design. You have one of the better receivers in Garrett Wilson out there. You have a good running back field. They did get a lot of good runs on there, but you got to let the kid play, man. You can't handcuff him and put him in bad situations or put him in known passing downs where they can just rush and attack the quarterback. He's obviously not going to do well in there. You're going to lose the game anyway. Either just roll your dice and let it happen or just pack it up and move on.
Yeah, so this was another one of those situations where the Commanders cover, and Ian texts me, and I'm fired up, like, you give up the reins, you're cold as fuck, you can't do shit. Yeah. I'm like, okay, whatever. I go, do you want to bet the night game? He goes, hell yeah, we're taking the Raiders. But we're not taking the Raiders. I go, we're absolutely not taking the Raiders. I go, the Jets defense is going to stop them. Listen, Zach Wilson scores 2 touchdowns, they're going to win the game. It's like, and the Raiders, good story, but they're coming off of one of the most emotional wins with Antonio Pierce. It's just not a good spot for them, blah, blah, blah. I go, absolutely not. We're not taking it. So imagine the text that I got.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that being said, I thought that the Jets left a lot of plays on the field. The Jets should have won the game, in my opinion. Defense still showed up. There were certain situations where, Garrett Wilson makes a bad drop. Zach Wilson throws a pick, and then you get Zach Wilson out of the pocket for a Hail Mary to end the game. And he actually puts the ball in a great spot. And Garrett Wilson
hit him in the hands
above everybody, not even. Garrett Wilson rises up above everybody to catch this ball, and Tyler Conklin, your tight end, reaches up and knocks it out of his hands. I just like the most Jets thing ever that could happen. And, just bad breaks, bad luck for this team, bad juju. I don't know, bad whatever you can call it. But yeah, I thought that they should have won this game, in my opinion. I liked the Jets all week.
I was definitely heavy on this.
Another case where I was wrong,
I was definitely heavy on this. I was melted in the couch by this point, obviously feeling really good, enjoying very loosey-goosey. I took Greg Zuerlein over field goals made of 1.5. I took Garrett Wilson receiving yards over 58.5. I took Zach Wilson over 198.5 passing yards. I had the Jets plus 1.5, which obviously lost, but I also had Garrett Wilson over 99.5, and he finished with 95. That was a big one. That would have been a big one, juice one there. And if you think about, not only the Hail Mary drop, but the other one, definitely there.
Yeah.
I just get frustrated, kind of the same thing I said when the Giants were playing, right? And they had Tommy DeVito in there. Like, you're going to have to throw the ball in the NFL, bro. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose. But the only way kids are going to get better in the NFL, and let's be honest, this is Zach's second year, okay? His second year. If everybody gives... This is his third? Okay. Well, still his third year. Whatever. Okay, the kid needs reps. That's all I'm saying. Let's get into Monday Night Football. We're going to wrap this up pretty quick. We're going to push through this Monday Night Football real quick. Real quick NCAA football recap, and then we're moving on. We got Broncos-Bills tonight. Bills are -7 here. We have them in circa plus 7.5. Thank you, Juju. I do have my own personal on there, plus 7.5. The Broncos are a team that's absolutely on the up. What?
That's plus 7 in circa.
No, it's plus 7.5. Oh, is it? Is it 7?
I'm almost positive it's 7.
That probably is. I think I have 7.5 on my bet slip. That's what it was. I took him 7.5 on the hard. All lines here provided by the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa, Florida.
We have it at 7.
Yeah. I think that number is going to be right there. It's going to be pretty damn close. The Broncos are on the up and up. Bills are still trying to figure some stuff out. That Bills defense is still just not firing on all cylinders. Josh Allen is going to Josh Allen. As Jeff said, we do need a few points out of the Denver receivers this morning. We'll see what happens.
Out of James Cook, Gabe Davis. I need points out of Javonte Williams.
Well, I will be rooting against you on Javonte Williams.
Cortland Sutton. So I have a lot of fantasy implications that I'm not really happy about because I know this game is going under because it's a primetime game and all primetime games go under for the rest of my life. So yeah.
Well, I do
like the Broncos here in this spot. That's the other reason I like the plus 7 is because I do feel like the under will come in. I could see like a really sloppy, 20-17 type of a game where the Broncos still get there. So yeah.
Well, like I said, let's just hope Javonte Williams has a mediocre game, and your other people can have an elevated game to cover the difference on that. Because
other people are Bills, so I don't know if you want to really root too hard for the Bills. So
I'm not. I just don't want Javonte Williams to score more than 15 points.
Sure.
I mean, that's all I need. I think we can all agree that, having Sean Munson get another loss in this league is what the world needs right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely what we need.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at this.
I've been happier to watch the Ravens lose yesterday.
Yeah, I know. And I'm looking at this, right? With the emergence of Keaton Mitchell, my backfield, my running back backfield that was absolutely just garbage. And Bijan Robinson sighting. I mean, I'm looking at coming back week 11. Justin Fields back. I'm going to have Mitchell, Herbert. Obviously, I also have Charbonnet, who looked good. I feel pretty good, man. I feel pretty good going into this. I feel if I can get to that 3-7 mark, I'm only going to be a game or 2 games behind. Look out!
Just getting out of the honeypot, right? You're not making the playoffs.
I think I can make. Why can I not make the playoffs? I'm 3 games behind the playoffs right now. 3.
There's 5 games to go. 4 games to go. Week 14.
I did it last year. I ripped them all off to get to 500 just to miss the playoffs by 1. And let's be honest, if we can get some, I guess it's just Mikey Fitzpatrick sitting at 5-4. I think he's going to win this week though. Mikey Fitzpatrick, yeah, he's
Mike's losing this week, but it's a buff.
Perfect. See, there we go.
And you have me, TJ, and Adam Brown ahead of you, and me and Adam Brown are playing. So
that's going to drop 1. So then if I'm looking ahead, I got 4 weeks.
Sonny. TJ beat Sonny.
I got
5-5.
I get Sonny next week. All right. That's I do have to play Joe the week after that. Ooh, and then I play Kroll the week after that. And then Joe Mama at the end. I don't know. I feel like, can we get odds? I think right now, we're looking at like plus 2,000. I did take a screenshot of the standings right now that show that I have a 1% chance of making the playoffs, just for my own personal reference here. Never out. Let's get it done. Recap this Monday Night Football. We have Broncos plus 7. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're going for. Go Broncos. Just no Javonte Williams. Hopefully he sprains his ankle in the first quarter.
I will give up my fantasy football team to win $1 million in Circa for sure.
Absolutely. So real quick, we had a little bit of NCAA action going on here. The biggest story coming out, Jimbo, might as well call him Jimbo. Jimbo's Fisher is fired out of Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. Absolutely egregious. I think he's been exposed ever since Bobby Bowden left. I think. Did he have a couple good years over there? Couple good years at Florida State? No?
Yeah, like winning a national championship and having a Heisman Trophy winner.
Right, but like how many years out of Bobby Bowden was that?
3.
3 years out? 2?
Something like that.
I just wondered if he won with the Bobby Bowden recruits. That's all I was asking.
Bobby Bowden recruits? Bobby Bowden was like 85 years old, bro. He was
the figurehead of that organization. We all know that.
Sure.
I mean,
he absolutely was.
Come on.
He was mentally not the most there person at the end when he left.
But you don't need that. All you need is somebody to be able to bring the 5 stars in, right? And then let the other guys do their job, which Jimbo Fisher did a really good job at. Really good job.
All the 5 stars in.
Really good job over that. But after he left Florida State, well, let's be honest. When he left Florida State, was Florida State on the up or the down?
When he left Florida State, he left us in shambles.
Correct. The program was on the decline. That's a direct reflection of him. Goes out to Texas A&M, gets some of the best recruits in the class. I think he had like the number 1 class last year. Did he not?
He had like the highest rated class in the history of classes.
Exactly. And he's 5-4 this year or something of that nature. The biggest part, the biggest part that I think that I find this the most egregious out there, which I guess NFL players are just now starting to realize, you started to see some of them speaking up on it, is these contracts. So Jimbo Fisher goes to Texas A&M, absolutely just decimates that program as well while bringing in some of the best recruits on there. Just lays an absolute turd over his time there and is now going to be paid out $72 million for absolutely not coaching a game. Mm-hmm. I just why can't we get something like, hey dude, you suck at your job, but you know what, we're gonna pay you out for the next 3 years. Just get the fuck out of here.
if you write it up in the contract well enough, then you can have that.
I guess so. So that's the big news here. Florida did go to LSU. Florida looked like they had it. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick before we move off that. Who do you think would be a good fit, Texas A&M?
Don't care.
You don't think Deion would be a good fit at Texas A&M?
I think Deion would be a good fit wherever the hell he wants to go. Obviously, Texas A&M is going to have more money than Colorado. I don't know.
Deion being a Texas guy, playing for the Cowboys, having the history there. I believe he coached high school football in Texas as well too. It just seems like it might be a good fit. You get a jump to the SEC. You get all the booster money behind you. You get one of the most, and listen, I'm going to put this out there also because they have Mike Norvell as their number one candidate on their big board on all of their stuff. So I don't know if I can handle that.
Why? Why? I mean, obviously he's done a great job at Florida State, but why would you continue to pluck from one program?
Just sucks, dude. Like, can you oil motherfuckers get away from my team? Please. Like, what do we do to you? We've never done anything to you, you know?
Bro, that would be bad. But if Norvell,
and listen, they can throw him $10 million a year. If you're Norvell and you're like, oh wait, I can make $6.5 million more per year.
Absolutely. I look at it this way: there's screw the loyalty anymore. There's no loyalty. Why would I be loyal to you? I don't. There's no loyalty. The only thing that you have to worry about is the loyalty to the players that came because of you, right? But if you can bring those players with you, which I'm sure they will, because now that the transfer portal, you can do that. Just like what the dude with USC, right? He brought the players with him over there from Oklahoma, poached like
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, half the team over there. It's the same thing. Maybe that's what they do. You take the recruits that are already there at Texas A&M. You take what's left from Florida State. Holy shit, you might have something really, really big there. But yeah, I mean, if somebody's going to pay me more than, but I'm sure there's a buyout that they have to give to Florida State, right, in order to get him out of there. Like they would have to buy out a certain amount of. But who cares? There's billionaires in Texas. They'll write a check.
Doesn't matter.
If somebody said, if I'm making $10 million a year and somebody comes up to me and says, Tyson, I'd like to pay you $25 million to come over here. The first question I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, hey, Florida State, guess what? They're going to pay me $25 million to go over there. Do you want to match it? Oh, no, you're good. Okay. Boop. I'm out. I'm providing generational wealth for my family, my generations. It ain't about loyalty right now, but it's about business.
Zach, what kind of odds do you want on Tyson making the playoffs?
Plus 2,000. I think that's good. So as I was saying,
2,000 on what? On $100?
On anything.
What? How much do you want to put on this?
I don't even know.
You can get back to me personally, and I'll take the other way.
Okay.
Whatever you want. Tyson not making the playoffs.
I think he's wanting to bet against me making the playoffs. I think is what he's trying to say.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Then I agree with him.
Yeah.
TJ does win the tiebreaker for points as well too.
If it comes to a tiebreaker.
How would it not come to a tiebreaker?
What do you mean?
So you think you're gonna win weeks 11? 12,
I could. I have to.
14.
I have to win out.
After hopefully not having 17 points from Javonte Williams.
I would be sitting at 7-7 if I win out. 7-7.
That's low. Plus 2,000 is low.
Yeah. If I win out, I'm sitting at 7-7. That's an opportunity. That's all. That's all I'm saying. There's a chance. Oh no, he wants me to make the playoffs. Zach, I knew we were always boys, bro. I knew that. Going to Chicago, I knew you. I knew you knew what was up, Brian.
So what do you want?
Shout out. Let's do this on the sidebar here. We got to get moving. We're running out of time. Florida, LSU. Florida does go into the Bayou, and it looked for a long time like Florida was going to shock the world here. They were up, leading, looking good. I'll tell you what, the biggest thing that I've taken away from this defense, and obviously it's a very young defense, a lot of freshmen out there in the field, is you cannot let the same thing happen to you 2 weeks in a row. You had Arkansas come into your hometown, and you let the quarterback run all over you and completely dismantle your defense to be able to run, and you did the exact same thing in LSU. You basically handed this kid the Heisman Trophy at this point, put up the most record number of yards gained, whatever. I looked at the coach straight on that. I mean, that's on you guys, man. You let a quarterback beat you, run all over you last week, and you did the exact same thing. You did the exact same thing this week. The quarterback just runs all over you. You lose the game. I mean, shout out to those people that thought Florida had a chance. I appreciate you. That was definitely a bold move to take Florida money line, but definitely didn't happen.
I was one of those people who was all over the Florida money line. It's okay. Hold on. I'm getting some What was that? Oh shit! Jaden Daniels just scored another touchdown on Florida. Actually, I just got some breaking news right there.
We're gonna do this, huh? We're gonna do this.
Tough game for the Gators.
We're doing. We're about to get into Florida State and how they're gonna go undefeated and miss the college playoffs. You want to start this right before we get into that?
I was the one who started the narrative, so I mean, I don't really have a problem with that but yeah, I mean, whatever.
Jeff took the Florida money line 4 times. Is this the intel that I'm getting?
This is we can get into the nitty-gritty of what happened. There were
No, we're
mistakes
good.
that were made. There were definitely mistakes that were made. And yes, not only did I have it tied into parlays and every which way, but I also live bet it 4 times too. So
What's up, Dino?
I told Ian I'd be more than happy to refund him the $50 in bets that we had on Florida. Like, what are we talking about here?
Nothing like a 10-unit play.
He said it's not about that. Oh, okay, whatever.
Well, let's get into a game that actually had some drama. Go, or did you want to continue to shit on Florida?
I was going to say this. Jaden Daniels is really good. LSU is a good football team. Defense struggles. We did have the over here, and we were very close to hitting some things. Just got to be able to get it done in late game situations. So that's the next step.
Like I said, my biggest thing out of Florida here.
You lose small, you win small, you win big, right? So.
I would agree with that. My biggest thing again is just you just let them follow the Arkansas gameplay. Arkansas's quarterback ran all over us. He single-handedly beat us. My man,
update.
I got your emails, by the way, dude. I just obviously back into the mix. I got you this afternoon. Go ahead.
Breaking news on Baker Mayfield.
He's out for the year.
His thumb is fine. He will not miss any practice, and he will play on Sunday against the 49ers.
Great. Well, if there's one team that can injure Baker Mayfield, it's going to be the 49ers. There's a bounty on his head for $100 from me. So if anybody wants to, I'm not saying like end his career, but like
Why
maybe
would you do this?
Maybe like a quarter.
Why would you do this?
Because I'm not behind Baker Mayfield. And if anybody from the San Francisco 49ers is listening, I have $100 for you, just like they used to have bounties back in the day.
$100. Yeah, $100. Bounty gate over here. Fucking big bucks. Throwing $100 down just so we can see Kyle Trask.
We don't unit shame. We don't unit shame here.
Assuming it's not going to be John Wofford.
At this point, I don't know. At this point, I don't know what's happening over there. I don't know. So yeah, I could care less.
Unbelievable.
The Bucks flag has not flown in this household in 2 weeks. It's being
keep on flying that bear shit, bro.
It's burned.
It's fine.
It's
fine
fine.
with us.
Good. You'll be sitting right next to the couch next to me come playoff time, and I'll have a better pick. Yep, that's all. Fucking Tom Brady, motherfucker.
The division's still right there within our grasp.
All right, let's put a bet on it. Are the Bucks going to make the playoffs?
They have a way better shot at making the playoffs than you do in fantasy football. I'll tell you that.
Okay, well, let's put some money on it. What kind of odds do we have here? I got $100 that says the Bucks do not make. I have $100 that says the Bucks do not make the playoffs.
And I can go onto the Hard Rock Bet app right now and get it at plus 600. So why would I make that bet with you?
Because it's a gentleman's bet. I hear Bose is a fan show. Yeah, I agree with that. He provided some signed memorabilia.
I'm wrong, bro. I'm so over the 49ers right now. I can't tell you, bro. Like, obviously that game didn't go the way that I thought it was going to, but just like Young and Armstead and Hargrave,
your fanship,
Warner and like it pisses me off, dude.
Your love affair of Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars has blinded you.
Maybe.
Yeah. Moving on, Florida State, Miami. Now this was a game that we always said that these rivalry games get a little close. I looked at halftime during the show. I saw it was 10-10. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Happened to look a little bit later. Then I saw Miami 20, Florida State 27 in OT.
In OT?
Yeah, didn't it go overtime?
No.
I thought it said on the app.
No, did not go to overtime. In fact, I mean, I said this. I'm like, listen, Florida State's a great second half team. We have really good coaches. We make great adjustments. Usually, it's completely different from the way the first half went. And the kid that I liked, the Williams kid. Unfortunately, he gets hurt on one of the last plays right there. But I thought he looked good for Miami. I thought Miami played. This is obvious Miami Super Bowl. I mean, they played so hard. Their lines were really dominant. Jordan Travis didn't have a lot of time to throw. Defensive line was really, really good. Their DBs were pretty good as well too. I thought Florida State didn't play a great game. but we still are managed to get the win. Florida State's up by 14 points. There's 5 minutes left. Williams throws the ball on like a 3rd and 10 on a go pattern on the outside. The safety tries to undercut it and intercept it, misses it. Somehow, the wide receiver from Miami catches it like behind him, and there's nobody there in front of him because the safety just lost his over the top help, and he runs for a touchdown to make it a touchdown game, make it look a little bit closer than what it was. But yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the pre-show. I think there is a path where Florida State wins out and they end up not making the college football playoff. And you just can't convince me otherwise, because the fact that we're still going to be at 4, we beat Miami, yes. Now we played Northern Alabama this week, and then we played at Florida the last week of the year, and then we'll have the ACC championship game, it looks like against Louisville, who is probably going to be top 10 unless they drop one of their last 2 games as well. My thing is that I can see a path where Alabama ends up sitting at number 6, number 5, something like that. Washington is undefeated, playing in the Pac-12 championship game. You have the winner from Michigan, Ohio State, who's going to make it already. Let's say you have Georgia and Alabama playing in the SEC championship. Let's say Alabama wins the game by 1 point. Okay? Very close game. Now, you have to move Alabama up. You have to move Georgia down. But how much are you going to move either of them up or down? Right? Like, I feel like there's a possibility where Georgia and Alabama both get in to go along with Michigan and Washington, and Florida State ends up left out. Maybe call me pessimistic. I could see it happening. And I think I'm emotionally preparing myself for it, because I know that if it does happen, that I am going to be in shambles. And so I feel like if I set myself up for the disappointment now, that it won't hit me as hard when it actually happens.
You're really just taking my playbook. You know, this is my outlook on all of my teams, which you'll always hear me talk about the dark side, right? You'll never hear me talk about the upside, especially whilst anything's going on. Maybe afterwards, maybe I might say something, but you're absolutely right. It does dull the pain, Jeff. It does dull the pain. And I do think you're absolutely right. You know, Alabama wins out. Of course, they only have there's strength of schedule the rest of the way. I think they have Chattanooga, then they have Auburn, and then obviously Georgia.
Thank you. I'll take all the prayers I can get.
You know, I do see that happening if they do happen to beat Georgia. You know, you have to talk about them getting in, and then you look at Florida State's strength of schedule, which has been kind of up and down. It's looked tougher at sometimes, and then it's regressed based on the other teams' wins and losses that they've had either after they played Florida State or before that they played Florida State. You know, I think that the rest of the way in has got to be big statement games for Florida State. You need to pound the doors off Florida. I don't know who else you have left. Who do you have left?
We'll have Louisville, which will be a top 10 matchup, because Louisville was ranked 11th and they won this week. They have coming off of like an extended, like one of those midweek buys where they played on Thursday and then they're going to play again.
So I think if you blow the doors off everybody else, obviously that's going to help out. You know, we have the expand. We have the what's that? I'm sorry.
Louisville has Miami this week.
Okay. Well, if they that's not good for you, because if Louisville blows the doors off Miami. And you guys only beat them by 7, regardless if it was the garbage time. It's just one of those things. It's just not going to look good on paper. But this is why they play the game. You know, we'll see what happens when it comes out, and we'll get it going.
Yeah, Louisville has Miami and then Kentucky. So they're at Miami at 12 o'clock.
That Kentucky game is going to be tough.
Yeah, they're at home against Kentucky.
So. The path is there. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, this year we don't have the expanded playoffs. Next year it would be absolutely perfect, right? We'd have all the teams in there. Should just happen. I don't know why it hasn't happened before that. One of the big shockers of this Saturday was UCF. Oklahoma State comes in after just knocking off Oklahoma in the Bedlam game. Now, this could be something where you want to say it's a letdown to come to UCF. 3-45. I thought my app was broken. I'm just like, what?
I thought my brain was broken. I told Ian the day before, I go, let me tell you, lock of the day, Oklahoma State -2.5 against UCF. This UCF team is terrible. They stink so bad. Mike Gundy is something. He was like 25-2 on spreads in between 4 points on the road. I'm like, there's no way that this doesn't come in. The numbers tell you everything. The momentum tells you everything.
And then you get kicked in the nuts.
I was.
What are you gonna do?
You can see where Ian's coming from, right? Like now you can kind of see where he's coming from.
Well, you know, I mean, I can see it because I mean, when we started our circuit picks this week, we were on the opposite side of every single pick. Yeah. You know, we found some common ground here, but you know, let's be honest. Ian,
talked ourselves out of some stuff.
We talked ourselves out of some stuff. We talked ourselves into some stuff. We let some stuff go, probably both sides that we didn't really like at the time. And, it is what it is. Hopefully we get the win tonight. We end up 3-1-1, and we're still moving up the ranks. That's all we got to do, right? That's all we need to do.
Top 100, here we come. Top 100, here we
Hopefully. Real quick wrap up of the rest of it. Michigan goes into Penn State 24-15. This was, an interesting game. No Harbaugh for the rest of the year. The best part about this game, it was the coach afterwards. Did the injunction get in?
So there's some litigation going through right now. Good God, it is going down in my house right now. There's some litigation going through to where they're trying to get an injunction where Harbaugh will be able to be on the sidelines for at least the rest of the year.
So you can be on the sidelines but not coach?
No, you can coach.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. They're like trying to appeal it to some court, which I think they should. It's a terrible decision.
It's dumb, dude. Ridiculous. It's just a overreaction.
It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
This is cancel culture in football. This is cancel culture in sports.
Who are you affecting the most out of this? The kids who have put their tail on the line every single game out there playing for themselves, and you're gonna big time them because you think that their coach did something, but which you haven't fully. It's just it sucks. It stinks to all high heaven. I hate it. If I'm Michigan, leave the Big Ten.
Well, I think Harbaugh's gone anyway, so we'll see what happens at the end of there. I think
he's coach of the Chicago Bears.
I hope so. I don't know, dude. I have this weird feeling where Chicago doesn't fire anybody. I just, especially after they rip off the next 6 wins.
Yeah, okay.
Shock the world. Anyway, so Michigan 24, Penn State 15. Michigan continues to go on. Like I said, the biggest thing I saw that there was the coach at the end of the game just in tears. Just so proud. Obviously his first coach did it for Harbaugh. Good moment there. Penn State was so upset they fired their offensive coordinator after the game.
Well, the Penn State's quarterback sucks, so they can fire their quarterback first and their offensive coordinator because Blake Holland has been terrible. Everything's been terrible. Their offense you can't watch. It's tough. The Big Ten has been tough to watch on Saturday. It's
weird. Like the Big Ten has turned in. Now I wouldn't say it's turned into the SEC as far as defensive, but just the numbers they turned into, and the SEC has turned into the Big 12. It's like coming full circle. I don't know what's going on here. Tennessee does go into Missouri 7-36. Missouri Tigers are absolutely just rolling right now, looking good. The Gators have them this week. We'll see what happens there. Utah goes into Washington. Washington remains unbeaten, 28-35 on this. This is one of the teams that we have in the college playoffs if they continue to win out to possibly punt.
Did you see the kid from Washington intercepts the pass, runs it all the way back, and then drops the ball at the 2-yard line before crossing the goal line? What a seal the game.
I mean, this is, guys, just get across get before you start trying to celebrate. Okay, you're badass, but you whatever.
First. Yeah.
Ole Miss, which thought Ole Miss might have a little shot here against Georgia, absolutely not. Ole Miss 17, Georgia 52. And the Colorado Bulldogs fall again. Arizona in Colorado. I think the wheels have fully come off on Colorado.
5 in a row, maybe?
The hype is over. Reality has set in. We're starting to see less and less of Dion in the Colorado Buffalo, which honestly I think we can all agree is nice. There was just a lot of ingestion there. A lot of ingestion. Let's let him do. Did I say Colorado Bulldogs? Colorado Buffaloes.
Okay. We know what you were talking about.
Bro, I'm still in zombie mode. But yeah. That's going to wrap it up for today on a Monday edition of the Uninformed Fan. Jeffrey, anything to close us out with?
Let's go Broncos tonight, man.
Let's go Broncos. Shock the world.
I understand. You guys are sick of me saying, the Bills suck and blah, 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 but the Bills suck, dude.
Jeffrey has this wonderful thing, which, through all of his great attributes and all of the good things he comes, when he is on the other side of a team, he rides it all the way. He takes that. I think maybe are you off the Packers a little bit now? Obviously, you said drop Christian Watson, so I think that might be the only team.
2 weeks ago.
All right, that might be the only team that you've made the little bit of the twist there from the preseason. You're
trying to shame me into liking the Jaguars when they just won 5 games in a row and they just got beat by the best team that we've probably defense that we've historically ever seen now.
Shame you into liking the Jaguars?
Yeah, you're trying to make me feel bad for still liking the Jaguars. You're like, oh man, we should maybe move on from Trevor Lawrence in fantasy and.
Hey, as you say, the numbers tell the story. That's all.
Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie.
Exactly. And the numbers say that Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguar offense is, and it has been for weeks.
They get Tennessee next week. So
who's coming off a bad loss to I don't know. Coming off a bad loss to the Bucs. Mike Vrabel's going to be fired up. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be fired up. Woo, doggy. San Francisco just laid out the game plan. It's going to be a good one. Jeff sure can hold drugs, absolutely. But, it's one of the wonderful qualities that makes Jeffrey Jeffrey. That's going to do it for us today. Everybody, have a great day. We'll see you back here on Wednesday. A little golf recap. Look, we're going to celebrate our Monday night victory. Going into our Monday night games, they haven't been the kindest to us. This is where we turn it around. Thank God the Jets aren't playing on Monday night again. We'll see what happens. Let's go Denver. Let's ride Broncos country.
Broncos country.
What was that?
Great.
What was that thing that Russell said?
Broncos country. Let's ride.
God.
He did like 5 takes of it.
I don't know. He's so cheesy. Everybody, have a good one. Stay out of the left-hand lane.